The majority of the thoughts that we think every single day are the same thoughts as we thought yesterday and the day before that. In fact, 90% of them are the same thoughts leading to the same choices. The same choices leading to the same behaviors. Same behaviors creating the same experiences. And the same experiences producing the same feelings and emotions. And the repetition of that, the firing and wiring, then create automatic programs in our brain and body. And 95% of who we are is a result of unconscious or subconscious programs where we've done something so many times that the body now can actually do it automatically without the participation of the conscious mind in it. If you truly wanted to change and you understood that your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of what you think, how you act and how you feel. And the present personality who's listening to this call has created the present personal reality called their life. This means that if they wanted to create a new personal reality and a new life, they would have to begin to change their personality. They have to change themselves. And most people, we try to create a new life with the same personality. So then, if you are sitting in your meditation and you ask yourself the question, who do I want to be when I open my eyes? What is the greatest expression of myself? And you said, okay, let me remind myself of how I no longer want to think, the thoughts like, it's too hard, I'll never change, I'll never get what I want. Let me become so conscious of those unconscious thoughts that I wouldn't let those thoughts slip by my awareness today unnoticed by me. I'll program my autonomic nervous system for a specific outcome. And then if you said, how would I want to speak today? How do I want to act? How do I want to behave? And then you reminded yourself how you weren't going to act and how you weren't going to behave. And you became conscious of those unconscious habits to such a degree you wouldn't go unconscious and behave the same way. Now you are consciously observing the program. And if you said, when does my energy drop? What do I feel when I feel those typical, familiar emotions? What are they? So let me name them. Just so I am so aware of them that when my energy drops, I can catch myself in that moment and not return back to the same familiar emotions and cause my body to believe it's back in the past and we can't see a new future from the past. So that process is what I call getting beyond the old self. And it's a disentangling from the program. The word meditation means to become familiar with. So as you sit there and you become familiar with those states of mind and body, you begin to objectify your subjective self. Now you are becoming so aware of the unconscious programs, you won't go unconscious, and that's the first step to change. And then what if you said, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? What thoughts do I want to put my attention behind? And begin to install the new circuitry, the new hardware. And if I keep my attention on it and I fire and wire those thoughts, it's going to become a software program. And that's going to be a new voice in my head. That's going to be the voice that's telling me, the new program that be telling me that I can do whatever I put my mind into, that it is possible. If we have experiences suffering and within our minds and bodies we hold that suffering and express it through our thoughts and feelings, we broadcast the energetic signature into the field. The universal intelligence sending into our life another event that would reproduce the same intellectual and emotional response. Our thoughts send the signal, I am suffering, and our emotions, I am suffering, draw into our lives an event to match that emotional frequency. That is a good reason to suffer. In a very real sense, we are seeking for proof of the existence of universal intelligence at all times, and it sends us feedback in our external environment at all times. That is how powerful we are. So why don't we choose to send a signal that would produce a positive outcome for us? How can we change so that the signal we send out matches what we intend to produce in our lives? We will change when we fully commit to the belief that by choosing the thought signal that we send out, we will produce an effect that is observable and unexpected. With this objective intelligence, we are not punished for our sins, that is our thoughts, feelings and actions. We are actually punished by them. When we project into the field a signal based on thoughts and feelings, such as suffering, produced by some undesirable experiences in our past, is it any wonder that the field responds in the same negative way? How many times have you uttered these words? Or very similar ones? I can't believe it. Why does this always happens to me? Based on your new understanding of the nature of reality, do you now see those statements reflect your acceptance of this model of which you are a victim of cause and effect? Do you see that you are fully capable of causing an effect yourself? Do you see that instead of responding in the manner above, you could be asking yourself, how can I think, feel and behave differently to produce the effect and result that I want? Our mission, then, is to willfully move into the state of consciousness that allows us to connect to universal intelligence, make direct contact with the field of possibilities and send out a clear signal that we truly expect to change and to see the results that we want in the form of feedback produced in our lives. When you do create purposefully, request a sign from the quantum consciousness that you have made contact with, dare to ask for synchronicities related to your specific desired outcomes. When you do, you are being bold enough to want to know that this consciousness is real and that it is aware of your efforts. When you accept this, then you can create in a state of joy and inspiration. This principle asks us to lay down what we think we know, surrender to the unknown, then observe the effects in the form of feedback in our lives. And that is the best way we learned when we get positive indications, when we see our external circumstances shift in a favorable direction. We know that whatever we did of us was right. Naturally, we'll remember what we did, so we can do it again. So when feedback begins to occur in your life, you can choose to be like a scientist in a process of discovery. Why not monitor any changes to see that the universe is favorable to your efforts and prove to yourself that you are that powerful? So how can we connect with that high level of consciousness? I think we've all experienced those synchronicities, where you are thinking about something or you have an intention, and all of a sudden you start to see the reality kind of conform itself around you in some way and you're not going anywhere to get it. Somehow it seems to be coming to you. And there is a very direct correlation between energy and reality. So when you start to synchronize your energy to a possibility that exists in the quantum field and you have a coherent brain, there is a very specific signal that we can send out that is very, very coherent and clear. And we match that brain coherence with heart coherence. It is the heart that acts as a magnet and draws the experience back to us. So the thought being electrical charge and the feeling being the magnetic charge, and how you think and how you feel broadcast information into the quantum field, and I think whatever we broadcast into the field, it's our experiment with destiny. So we either create from the field, or we create from matter. And if we create from matter, as bodies local in space and time in three-dimensional reality, we have to move in space to get what we want. We have to move back and forth to work and drive there and to manifest our dreams, and creating a three-dimensional reality takes time and it takes energy. Sometimes people get so lost. In reality they forget what their dreams were, because there is too much time between cause, the thought, the effect, the experience. creating from the field and getting beyond yourself, your associations to everything physical and known, and being able to enter through a small door, the eye of the needle, the quantum field, passing through the eye of the needle, as pure consciousness, and connecting to a field and teaching people how to create from the field, instead of from matter. Connected to that unified field, to source energy in a realm where there's no body, no thing, no time. Thus, to move into that domain and create from that paradigm, you'll need to forget about your body for a while. You'll also have to temporarily shift your awareness away from your external environment. All those things that you identify in your life, your spouse, your kids, your possessions, and your problems, are all part of your identity. Through them you identify with the outer world. And finally, you'll have to lose track of linear time. That is, in the moment when you are intentionally observing a potential future experience, you will have to be so present that your mind no longer vacillates between memories of the past and expectations of a same-as-usual future. It's ironic that to influence your reality, heal your body, or change some event your future time, you have to completely let go of your external worlds. You have to lose track of your body, of the time. You have to become pure consciousness. Do that and you have dominion over the environment, your body and time. And since the subatomic world of the field is made purely of consciousness, you cannot enter any other way than via pure consciousness yourself. You cannot walk through into the quantum field as a somebody. You must enter as a nobody. Your brain has the innate ability to harness this skill. When you understand that you are fully equipped to do all this, leave this world and enter a new reality, beyond space and time, you will be naturally inspired to apply it in your life. What does it mean to be beyond space and time? These are constructs that humans create to explain physical phenomenon involving location and our sense of the temporal. When we talk sitting on a table, we reference it in terms of locations or where it is in space, or how long it has occupied that location and space. As humans, we are obsessed with these two conceptions: where we are, how long have we been there, how long we will remain, where we'll go next. Even though time is not something we can actually sense, we feel it passing in much the same way that we sense our location in space. We feel the seconds, minutes and hours passing by just as we feel our bodies pressed against our chairs and our feet planted on the ground. In the quantum field, the infinite probabilities for materializing reality are beyond time and space, because a potential doesn't yet exist. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't occupy a space or a position temporarily. Anything that doesn't have material existence, that hasn't had its waves of probability collapsed into practical reality, exist beyond space and time. Since the quantum field is nothing immaterial probability, it is outside of space and time. As soon as we observe one of those infinite probabilities and give it material reality, it requires those two characteristics. Great. We have the power to make material reality of our own, choosing it, selecting it from the quantum field. But we have to somehow access that field. We are always connected to it, but how do we get the field to respond to us if we are constantly emitting energy, therefore sending information to the field, and receiving information from it? How do we communicate more effectively with it? For now, what you need to know is that to enter that field, which exists beyond space and time, you have to enter a similar state. Do you ever have any experiences when time and space seem to disappear? Think of those moments when you are driving and your thoughts are focused on some concern you have. When that happens, you forget about your body, you are no longer aware of how you feel in space. You forget about the environment, the external world disappears and you forget about time. You have no idea how long you are tranced out. At moments like these, you have been at the threshold of the door that allows you to enter the quantum field and gain access to work with universal intelligence. In essence, you have already made thought more real than anything else. I have led you from the notion that mind and matter are fully separable to the quantum model, which states that they are inseparable. Mind is matter and matter is mind. So all those times in the past, when you tried to change, maybe your thinking was fundamentally limited. You likely believed that it was always circumstances outside of you that needed to change. If I didn't have so many other commitments, I could lose the excess weight, and then I'd be happy. We've all stated some variation of that thing. If this, then that. Cause and effect. What if you could change your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, and your way of being? Outside the bounds of time and space. What if you could change ahead of time and see the effects of those internal changes in your external world? You can. What has profoundly and positively changed my life and the lives of so many others is the understanding that changing one's mind and thereby having new experiences and gaining new insights is simply a matter of breaking the habit of being oneself. When you overcome your senses, when you understand that you are not bound by the chains of your past, when you live a life that is greater than your physical body, your environment and time, all things are possible. The universal intelligence that emanates the existence of all things will both surprise and delight you.